get counterpicked in both roles. And even if Twisted Fate isn't a direct one-to-one counterpick, like it's just
they got to see your entire composition. They got a winning bot lane, and they got to counterpick both solo lanes, and they got the first pick of the Vi.
Yeah, so they got to do whatever they wanted.
They just played blind pick. They just played blind pick, and you had to respond to everything. It's crazy. So we'll see if Loud can do a little bit better in the draft in the second game. They are going to have first pick this time, while JDG will have blue side. So Loud is going to have that first selection, and we'll see what they're going to do in the draft here this time around. Varus did fall through the first 6 bans last time, and we'll see if that is going to remain the trend again here.
So Jarvan and Pantheon hitting the ban list once again. YoungJae's Aatrox yesterday was, day before yesterday, was a bit of a shining light.
He played really well against Lion in general, I thought.
Yeah. So I wonder if that might be some direction that they're thinking about. I want to also, like, again, so comfort is kind of important when you're playing against an opponent that, I mean, is naturally very strong. But as we saw, if you lean too much into comfort, then it just makes it easy for your opponents to play around that and pick around that. But banning away the Nautilus does suggest that they might be thinking about an early Lulu pick.
And Varus is still up, right? So there is that now. You know, JDG have to decide, okay, are we willing to give this over? You know, if Loud wanted, they would be able to take it, or will they ban that out? You know, Varus obviously was eventually banned in the second phase of bans after it wasn't grabbed in that first 3 from Loud. So JDG just discussing, you know, do we want to ban that Varus? Do we want to leave it up? It has been mostly perma-banned throughout the tournament thus far, and instead it will not be banned. So they banned the Nami, so that more worried about the Nami Corki, the Nami Lucian, those pairings.
I mean, Bull looking at his champs, like, I don't see a Varus game there, Azael. Like,
I just always believe that everyone has to play Varus.
I mean, yeah, one would think, but there's that Lulu hub that we were talking about. I feel like that they're willing to let the Varus go.
You think it's just going to be Lulu Yunara versus a Varus bot lane on the other side? That's what I'm thinking.
Either Yunara or Aphelios, one of those two, but Yunara is probably the more likely option, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Aphelios is the backup Yunara. You know,
sure.
When Yunara isn't available, you have to take the Yunara without a dash.
Absolutely.
So I do think, you know, Xin plus Varus for JDG would be super strong, but they don't necessarily have to go Varus in the first 2 if they don't want to. We are definitely expecting it to be Yunara Lulu. Of course, JDG also have the opportunity to try to pick that away if they are really concerned about that pairing. And so they are going to grab that away, and now we have to see what does Loud want to do. Do they go to the backup Yunara? Do they go to a trusty old Moon Man, Aphelios here?
You said Moon Man. I thought you said Moon Man. And I was like, oh.
This guy, isn't he like something to do with the moon?
Yeah, no, you're completely right. Yeah, he's very edgy, loves the moon. That's completely accurate.
Ooh, do you think they'll on-hit Varus if they go Varus here since they have Lulu?
Okay.
Because I feel like Lulu does not make any sense with Varus if they're going to go poke.
We're going to go for alternative. We're going old school.
For lightning Yunara.
Yes.
We have Yunara, we have lightning Yunara, we have moon Yunara.
Yeah. Somehow all slightly worse than
Yunara.
original Yunara. Well, in any case, they're putting responsibility on Bull to be the hyper carry in this game.
Yep.
Does mean that JDG can just draft for a winning bot side match. We're going to blind pick mid. I do feel like they're allowing the jungle pool to get very tight. There we are. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me. Get that Aatrox. We were just talking about how YoungJae on the Aatrox did get that win against Lion, and he looked pretty convincing on it when he was able to find a couple of good ganks towards the bot side of the rift.
And it's always really powerful to have champions like Xin, like Aatrox with enchanters, right? And they have the Lulu.
Absolutely.
So, you know, when you can buff up this Aatrox, especially if YoungJae gets ahead, if he has some success in the early game. I mean, he got first blood last game. If you can get that kind of a start, it is quite strong. Neeko looking like a strong choice here for Vampire. Of course, you said it, you know, they pick support and bot first, so you're going to have prio on that bot side, definitely with the Neeko. It's going to be, you know, more Bull and RedBert trying to survive like they were last game. I don't think that this is as extreme as going up against the Karma Ezreal, but I still expect that JDG will have push, and we'll see how they handle it.
Yeah, it's still very winning. I think that Zeri is just like, she's not the strong, she's not a strong laner. Yeah. In contrast to Yunara, who once she gets those orbs stacked up, can become quite lethal, especially once you hit that level 6 mark. And just, I always forget Neeko. Like, she's such a good answer into Lulu in my head, just because like of her passive and her ability to lock you down. And if you do get rooted at all, Yunara is just going to unleash on you. So I like the bot lane matchup from JDG. I think it's favorable for them as we move into the second phase. Now going to be banned away on the top side. JDG. they're going to have to blind pick something. So something like Cassante, Renekton is something that they've done before, and it's usually their go-to on the top side. Xiaoxu, very well recognized in the LPL for being such a strong Renekton player.
And that's to me what the Gnar screams. So if I'm Loud, I'm now deciding, am I okay with the Renekton or do we ban it? Because I think Gnar is by far the most common answer to the Renekton. With that being banned out, you know you're probably going into the Renekton here. Of course, there's a possibility it's something else, but that is definitely the likely option. And so xyno has to decide, okay, do I need that to be banned? Can I play something else into it? And I feel like that's the thought process here now for Loud. We're seeing some potential protection bans for Envy as LeBlanc gets thrown down. You know, if you do want to go towards more of a control mage style, maybe you want to keep HongQ off of some of these aggressive answers.
Ooh, Akali. I wonder what that suggests.
Oh, it's the answering ban for the LeBlanc because of the chain's interaction with the Shroud is considered very good. So I think they're saying, oh, you banned LeBlanc because you want to play Akali, so we're going to ban the Akali, so you can't actually pick that. So it feels like they're just kind of reading into what the bans are meaning on the other side. And now, yeah, just wondering, is Loud going to ban the Renekton, or are they totally fine giving that over?
Personally, I would ban it.
I would too. Xiaoxu is very good.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Renekton, very good. So let's see if they go in the direction. I mean, it seems like Loud is very much banning mid lane champions with the anticipation of getting something comfortable for themselves.
What do you think the Annie ban signifies? Because it's kind of interesting. I mean,
they did hover the Victor earlier.
Yeah, but Victor is really good into Annie, so there's no way you're doing that protection ban for it unless you're just that worried about the later game, like the composition. Because Victor heavily outranges Annie. I think that is a terrible 1v1. But Renekton, the obvious pick once that Gnar got banned out. To me, like, Annie is strongest against melee champions, things like, you know, if you want to play Yone or want to play aggressive stuff, right? But Akali has been banned out.
I mean, she also compositionally, like, Wukong Annie was tried and true, right? So she can definitely plug and play. Yeah, I was thinking Syndra, but then I'm, again, like...
Syndra's great into Annie.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, is Annie something you're really scared of?
No.
But hey, they banned it away. That's fine. I think that HongQ can do kind of whatever he wants. If it was me, I would pick Fizz, but we're in a pro game and I don't play professionally. So I think that not going Fizz makes a lot of sense. But Ahri, I don't love. I do think one of Ahri's worst matchups is Syndra. So quite a confidence play coming through from HongQ to actually bring this matchup in, just because a good Syndra player could make life really miserable for the Ahri.
And they don't have great setup. I mean, neither side has great engage, let's be honest. And when you're looking over at Loud side, what's your engage? A Scatter the Weak. And when you're looking over at JDG, it's basically just Vampire or then, you know, a Flash Charm or, you know, flanking Renekton, whatever. They have some more options as far as that goes. But so maybe the Annie was just, hey, we're more worried about this compositionally. We just don't want you to have more go buttons. And the potential there for Envy to deny that engage always has to be something we keep in mind. You know, as Vampires going forward, you can hit the scatter onto the Neeko, push him back, deny that potential Pop Blossom. So we'll see how that 1v1 goes and if they're going to be able to mark Vampire.
In my mind, all I think of is like, Syndra hates stuff that basically wants to flank you. She ideally wants to play front to back. She waits for like the damage to be done where she can find that execute and excuse me. She
Bless you.
Against Neeko, I think she really, really struggles. So we'll see if they're able to pull it off. Again, like, I don't love the draft from Loud, Azael. I don't love it. I think that JDG just have more options. And in the context of comfort, like, Xiaoxu's Renekton is really good, dude. Like, it's really good. And I'm expecting him to have a high impact in this game. So let's see how things pan out as we jump into game 2.
Yeah, we'll see how xyno can do in that top side 1v1. Of course, if you can survive the early game as the Cassante, it can become, you know, pretty comfortable matchup, and you can have a lot of value on that Cassante, you know, being the only true frontliner that really is in this game. So we'll see if xyno can have success there up on the top side. Did pretty well against Xiaoxu in game number 1. Of course, a lot of that was YoungJae constantly ganking as well. But I really think that Loud's bot lane has to hold up better than they did in the first time for them to have a real shot here.
So if I'm Loud, my comms are, all right, Envy, we are perma-ganking mid. I think that Syndra's EQ combo is super effective against Ahri, and I think that you have really easy gank setup. And so I think that they should be looking to put as much pressure onto HongQ as possible here in this early game if they want to try and find an early lead.
Let's see if they're going to be able to do that. As just a bit of trading back and forth here in the mid lane. HongQ already has a potion advantage, as had a pretty good level 1 trade there into MB. Kind of forced that trade and is playing bone plating on the side of the Ahri, so was able to win out very heavily in that level 1 trade.
Jungles as well, doing similar pathing to what we saw in game 1. Does mean that bot lane might be the center of action, but again, I'm really hoping we see some stuff happen in mid. This mid lane matchup, one of the big reasons why it can really suck for the Ahri is just because Syndra just outranges you, and it's really easy for you to just permanently bully the Ahri, but that's not quite how this lane is currently going, Azael. HongQ is getting much better of the trades, and ultimately if you sidestep the Qs and don't get hit by them, and you land your skill shots, then, I mean, yeah, you can win out in the 1v1.
You just described League of Legends, and MV might be getting solo killed. That was incredibly close, but we're going to ignore that. A bright spot in the first series was xyno. He was able to get 3 solo kills, had a pretty impressive performance here as a rookie from the CBLOL. A lot of hopes are on his shoulders. You definitely want to see him have another good performance to have a chance in this. MV will have to TP back. Unfortunately, not going to have a great buy with only a 13 CS. And HongQ will be able to reset this wave, and he can either match TPs or just run right back. MV, though, fakes the base and is going to be able to, at the very least, farm up 1 more wave. So not the end of the world here, as he'll get most of that is down just the 4 CS.
Overall, though, nicely played by HongQ, playing the matchup really, really well. Getting favorable trades out against the Syndra early is really good to see for the Ahri. Going to TP back into lane with the Dark Seal. Both mid laners actually similar in atomization. The only advantage he'd gained is the 74 gold lead that he has, which is a control ward.
Yep, and it's great that NB actually did fake the base, RedBert getting low here, because if NB hadn't been able to do that extra wave, he wouldn't be able to get the refillable, and if you come back with no sustain, it can be tough. JunJia in the area, though. RedBert is low, he does have the heal. They're already getting zoned off the wave at 3 minutes into the game, so it does not bode well for that bot side 1v1, but they're going to look here on the top side. xyno flashes forward and does get that traded flash out from Xiaoxu, but that is going to be all he gets, and GALA gets to deny a full wave from Bull basically on that bot side, and I think he probably got the first plate. The first one's extremely easy to get.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a consistent pattern in this series, which is that JDG, they're drafting strong bot lane 2 vs 2. This is something that they did a lot domestically. They like having pressure on the bot side of the map, and it's mainly because of that bot crab. Like, once you have the push, contesting that as the enemy jungler becomes insanely difficult. The only way you can really do it is if you have push over mid wave, and there aren't even that many mid champions at like level 4 or level 3 that can really help you contest early on. So having bot control is extremely important to contesting that, and it limits YoungJae's options as well. You saw that he does end up getting the flash out from Xiaoxu as both top laners end up trading, but him forcing to spend his time on the top side of the map and investing in trying to put a Renekton behind when K'Sante is your laner, like that does not bode well for a long-term win condition.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the hope in those kind of cases is that K'Sante just becomes this brick wall that they can't get through in the team fights, but of course didn't really pay off in that gank. Is going to be on the early Bramble Vest, though. Well, it is a column boot on the other side. Xiaoxu just kind of consistently pushing this one in and is getting the HP advantage in the trades, as JunJia was able to walk up, ward out those Raptors, so they should have full info on where YoungJae is going to be.
Okay, we find ourselves in once again a relatively quiet early game. Cloud's early game leads aren't often the strongest. When we kind of looked coming into this tournament, they had one of the weakest early games at first stand. They often found themselves at deficits, but they are very good at finding ways back into the game, as they often did in their series against Lion as well. Even when they were at these gold deficits, they were able to fight their way back in. And often I keep my eyes on YoungJae as one of those players that helps drive back that difference.
Exactly, and I mean, honestly, even though they are down a little bit, the waves are going to equalize here. They're going to catch the spot wave. They're only going to be down a couple hundred gold. So this is, going a lot better, it feels like, than last time, where they were just getting blasted in the bot lane 2v2. So hard to actually lane into that Karma Ezreal. And you can see these are the Loud early game stats. 0% first blood percentage, down about 1,200 gold at 14. As a YoungJae gonna look topside once more, but Xiaoxu hits level 6 here. He doesn't have the flash, but he does have the dominus. Uses the slice early, which could go bad for him. Nice sidestep. The Infernal Chains, though, not gonna connect just yet. As xyno goes all out, Xiaoxu trades back with the dominus. Gonna be able to try to get out of here, trying to outplay, just can't do it. YoungJae back-to-back first bloods. Last time on the Nocturne, this time on the Aatrox.
I mean, they're looking to change that first blood stat.
panning
pump
out.
those numbers up.
They certainly are in this series. They find another effective play on the top side of the Rift. JDG going to respond with a cross map of their own. But I think in plays like this, it's important that YoungJae is getting the kills and he's able to secure it for himself. On the Aatrox against Line is where he was able to have a big performance. And now that he's getting accelerated, he's looking to do the same thing here in game 2.
And I just think compositionally, they stand much more of a chance this time than last time. I like what they have built a lot more than last game, though there will still be difficulties. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're going up against a team as good as JDG, it's always going to be tough, but they're going to look for a dive on the bot side. Vampire holding the turret aggro. The Crescent Guard is popped as they go forward. JunJia gets one. It's a replay of last game. Double kill in a dive for JunJia. You saw it in game 1, you're going to see it again in game 2.
It feels like YoungJae is just being denied all access to the bot side of the Rift. He's stealing camps on the top side of the map, but JDG is getting a dragon and they're threatening a bot dive. The level 6s had not come through for Paulo RedBert. It became way harder to stay alive. The cleanse really not offering much in that situation either. And JDG find themselves with a 1.4k gold lead.
YoungJae finds himself behind Xiaoxu once again. This time, still no flash, but no ultimates, and Xiaoxu going to play it safe. There was a lot of pings up on that top side, knowing that YoungJae, his response would be to take away some of those top side camps. So Xiaoxu does lose his ward, and is going to be a little bit nervous about that, but you can see multiple members here from JDG heading up towards that top side to cover him, as Vampire's up there, JunJia's up there, HongQ's up there. So they're trying to get some coverage here for Xiaoxu and make sure that he won't be caught off guard by another gank.
Movement into the enemy jungle. I mean, JunJia, he's just continually stolen away these camps. Ever since that red buff was taken from him, it has been a personal vendetta of his to steal away as many of these buffs as possible. Grubs are alive as well. He may just turn his attention straight towards them, and yeah, he's going to do just that. His mid laner is recalling, but he's got the push out in mid. The vision coverage once again is Azael. It's just nothing but dominant from the side of JDG.
Yeah, I mean, they're completely tracking YoungJae. It's honestly so hard to play as a jungler when you have all your lanes that are losing and getting pushed in, and you're getting warded on both sides. There's 3 wards on top side. The ward just expired on his blue buff, so, you know, they're still going to know exactly where you are. Because as long as you have one side warded, you know they can really only be on the other side looking for a lane gank.
Yeah.
And because there's not good gank assist, lane ganks on Aatrox are going to do nothing, right? It's not like you have a Nautilus, and Aatrox doesn't have good gank setup himself, so really there's not going to be much of an avenue of approach for him. And that is going to make things very difficult for these Aatrox, who really can only kind of sit back and farm.
Going to do his best. They do have some vision from Loud on the bot side of the Rift. They've got that one deep ward in the lane to spot out any lane potential gank coming through from JunJia. YoungJae going to clear out some vision of his own as well, thanks to his control ward.
Bull going to go in, pops the ulti here. GALA going to turn and fight, though. Vampire hits him with a Pop Blossom. In comes the shielding from Lulu. Will keep Bull alive. They wanted to go for an aggressive trade, but bit off more than they could chew. HongQ and Envy fighting heavily. HongQ incredibly low. Does get hit by the ulti. Will be able to just run away, though, with the Spirit Rush.
One of the big reasons why it can be so difficult for the Ahri is once she's committed with the ult, then Syndra's burst on the clapback can be very dangerous. So HongQ having to use his ulti to get out of harm's way. He's very low, though. JunJia hits off the support.
Nicely done there from Envy. It's going to be able to push in, take a plate. The Unleashed Power just put HongQ so low that he just had to run for it. And Envy paying respect to the fact that jungler could be on that bottom side. Plays it far enough up towards the top side that JunJia couldn't get in behind him. And YoungJae just going to continue farming, but he's farming on a ward, so they maintain that information on the Aatrox.
Yeah,
and look at his bot side camps now, both warded out.
Just the vision control continues to simply be immaculate from JDG. They're either invading as a collective, JunJia and Vampire together to get that deep vision, or they're using Prio to just drop deep wards, right?
As someone who dies to every gank, I'm going to start linking these VODs to my team. It's not my fault I'm dying to the ganks.
True,
it's your fault you didn't ward out the gank.
Absolutely.
Knowing that I would die.
Yeah, and thinking about it, like, I duo with Medic sometimes, and you're right, my deaths are his fault.
They are. Why didn't he ward that out?
Why didn't he ward that out? That's a great point as well. I'll have a review session with him after this series. Charm doesn't quite connect from Envy. But look at bot lane, Azael. Or would you rather avert your eyes once again?
No, I don't think I want to look down there. If you want, we'll hope of a close series, just don't look bot, is what we are learning, is Bull is going to have to pop the ult and just run for the hills. GALA just aggressively trading with the Transcend oneself here, and is going to be constantly pushing Bull in. They were holding a little bit more even early on, but now, even without a kill, GALA's up 1.3k. YoungJae is here to fight, but Bull can't really assist in a fight, and HongQ's forcing the roam here, so they're just getting perma-zoned off their tower. I think they're going to lose the whole first turret, and Bull is just completely out of it.
It is quite devastating to watch how things are playing out in the bot lane. Xiaoxu, sure, he's struggling a little bit in the matchup after falling to a gank early on in the game. He still holds on to a gold lead, but GALA did the worst thing possible to Loud. The whole wave, cannon included, dies to the tower. He'll give them a mercy one because the tower is about to fall anyway, but at 1.7k gold lead for Yunara, we're not even 12 minutes into the game, Azael.
And he's about to cash out his call too. He only has 5 more charges on the call, so he's going to be up over 2k easily. Already has that first item. JunJia is going to grab the second dragon of the game for him. And while the top side has held up pretty well, JunJia has found really good timings to slam home advantages in both game 1 and 2. They found that dive, killed them both off, and GALA and Vampire are just winning out in these 2v2s so easily that it's going to be really, really tough. I mean, Bull, yeah, you're playing this scaling champion, but you're miles behind the Yunara,
who is also a scaling champion.
Exactly. The only real advantage you have is, I guess, the Lulu is going to maybe help you out a little bit there, but it's just you're a full item down once this cull cashes out, essentially.
Yeah, it is a rough one, to say the least. And basically, all they're waiting, I mean, I was about to say, all they're waiting for is the role quest to be completed. But of course, GALA's role quest is completed. And so what they'll do is they'll move him to mid, and they'll do the exact same thing they did in game 1, which is, oh, you can't beat us in the 2v2? Great, then let's just keep that 2v2 going for as long as possible. Because until you can find a way to break this, we're going to keep chipping away at your towers, and we're going to keep building up advantages.
Well, Xiaoxu cashes out on his call, and that opens up a slight gold advantage for him. But xyno has held up well with some help there from YoungJae in that 1v1. So xyno looking pretty good. Mid lane's about even. Jungle, not really a big advantage. It's just all about bot lane here, and we'll see if Loud are going to be able to find a way to solve that problem. Xiaoxu going to pop the dominance here, going aggressively as HongQ is coming up. The Pathmaker used early, so he doesn't have it. He does try to get away. The charm just barely misses. The last auto doesn't kill him. xyno limps away. Barely survives. No, don't die on the lazy recall. Okay, JunJia's not going to check.
Honestly, a bit of a misplay there from HongQ. I think that he was just a bit impatient with a lot of his skills. He could have waited to get much closer and kind of put that extra pressure onto xyno. So he was forced to kind of make a decision as to where the skill shot was going to go. But hey, they get what they wanted. They get a couple plates on the top side. Xiaoxu now going to be heading towards the bot side of the map. Loud getting some vision of their own. But I'm keeping my eyes on the minimap. I see 2 GALAs. One was scary enough, let alone a second one.
That's not fair.
That's not fair at all. But Herald, now a minute's away. I imagine this is a large part of why they've made this swap. Xiaoxu's TP should be available, ready for that plate. And as you can see in the Coinbase gold gap, because that's what I'm going to call it right now, because that is quite the gold gap that has developed between the 2 AD carries.
Kind of messed up. I didn't want to look to the bot side of my screen. Now I can't look to the left side of my screen either. There's a lot of places you can't look if you want to avoid this GALA advantage, because he is now knocking on the door of this mid lane tier 1, 2.6k up, and whenever he goes back to base, he'll have a second item, and Bolt, who did make a pit stop for those Berserker Greaves, still working on that first item. You can see xyno going all out, looking for HongQ. He flashes back. The Pathmaker gets charmed right out of it, taking a couple tower shots. Is he going to go down? Tries to go back in onto HongQ, but he still has 2 charges of that Spirit Rush. Not going to risk chasing, as YoungJae is up there, and he's going to look for a potential play. Pop the World Ender, looking for HongQ. Not going to be able to knock him down just yet, but does finish him off with a chop of a sword. JunJia moving in, though, with the backup JunJia. Now shifting into a minion is Vampire. But RedBert is here to cover, and so is Envy on the teleport. So YoungJae, a bright spot for Loud, does have those 2 kills.
Well, it's bright if you just look top lane. Because yes, they did in fact
we're not looking bot lane, buddy.
Because yes, Loud did get themselves a kill. They get a kill onto HongQ. But mid lane, the tower is falling. Bot lane, Xiaoxu has had the freedom to hit onto that tower. I want to see how many plates he ended up. I mean, the mid tower is just going to fall. That's a 3k individual lead now for GALA. 3 plates were secured for Xiaoxu. He's got an 800 gold lead and the Herald as well. And where are they going to go with that Herald? Straight to top lane. They're not going to waste any time. They know that the recalls have just come through. They can just drop that and secure another tower if they want to. It depends if they want to hold it, ready for the dragon spawning in about a minute's time, and it looks like that's what they're going to make the play for.
GALA's about to go spend all his gold, and if you're a Loud fan, maybe avert your eyes. Ooh. As he's already got 2 items. He's working towards his 3rd here. Has the upgraded boots. He is ridiculously strong. They just don't really have any backline threat either. That's the biggest problem here for Loud. It's hard to imagine GALA dying. You know, it's hard to imagine him getting caught in a 5v5. They're going to look for RedBert here. RedBert forced to flash very quickly as GALA reveals the new itemization, and RedBert does not like the taste of that.
He does commit his ultimate, which you could argue, hey, that means he's not going to have it available for the Dragon. But based on what I'm seeing on my screen, Loud don't feel like they're going to get anywhere near that Dragon.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, it is going to be very tough to get over there. Let's look at the vision. Everywhere you look, it's all blue wards. They're going to be able to drop the Herald here in the mid lane, crash it into the tier 2. Envy is there to cover, but the tower goes down regardless. 5.5k gold lead. It's the Infernal Chains easily sidestepped by GALA. And the bot lane being pushed in once more. Everywhere you look, it is JDG building these incremental advantages. Just like last game, it is now turned into a massive edge.
I don't know. How do I word this? You know when...
Oh, but he got the scuttle. Big.
You know when we watch our regions just kind of get perma-killed in all their lanes and absolutely slaughtered?
Yeah, unfortunately,
I don't know if that's worse than just slowly losing like this. Because this feels like you just can't do anything. Just everything is kind of, at least like in the other version, there's like lots of kills, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes you get some of them, which always feels
That's
nice.
True, you do get some of them,
Not usually, but sometimes you do.
But here, it's 4 kills in 17 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, and you got 2 kills, you're 2-0 as the jungler, and you have lost the video.
Yeah.
It is tough. And you've been on approximately 17,000 wards if you're YoungJae this game.
Yeah, if anything, there isn't a fog of war for JDG.
No.
Like
That's crazy. They're just playing with map packs. Is this allowed?
You know how in game 1 you said it was like Loud was playing blind pick and JDG got to see all of your blind picks? It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but with vision. Is we're going to have the double TP. Can they find him? Oh, no. They guessed the wrong way. They thought they were being sneaky. The Scatter of the Week does connect as well as the Unleashed Power, but GALA, he's just going to absorb it. In goes JunJia. The Pop Blossom going to get popped here from Vampire. Only connects on one. HongQ's on the side. First kill goes the way of JDG. And in comes the teleport. Now in the back line. Don't look. It's a crocodile. Lulu is down. Bull is fighting with YoungJae, but YoungJae's ultimate has expired. Bull is on the run, but HongQ takes him out. xyno goes all out, but you got nothing to do in this fight. xyno will stand, he will fight, and he will fall as JDG. Vedius, you asked for more kills, and now they got him. Unfortunately for Loud, it did not go their way.
JDG did deliver as Loud tried their best to find a TP flanking play. They committed 2 members, they came in from the angle, but the play just doesn't go the way that they want it to. Things quickly fall apart. We'll look back at the play and Envy connects the stun, but the damage just isn't there, throwing his ultimate out very early, and now he becomes the target. Lulu does what he can to keep his mid laner alive, but Envy ends up dropping because JDG are coming in from multiple angles. Loud are committing very deep, and like Loud, they run out of steam.
Very, very quickly ran out of steam there. I mean, it's great angles from HongQ as well as Xiaoxu. And as soon as you see the angles that they have, there's just no world in which you're really going to be able to win the fight. Your carries are instantly gobbled up here by JDG as they have just displayed domination throughout this series thus far. You can see RedBert's face. Little look of dejection. It's a frustrating game to be playing.
Oh, absolutely.
You know you're just bleeding out, you're bleeding out, you're bleeding out. You know you're slowly losing the game. You finally commit to a play. That doesn't go your way either. And now JDG 2 minutes from Seoul, up 8,000 gold here at 20. And xyno going to be sent back away from his tower as JDG will look to try to connect yet another objective.
And I mean, it's a big turnaround for JDG after they were dismantled by Gen G. We heard from GALA and how he talked about how they were expecting that series to be competitive. They wanted to show more. They believed they could show more. And we needed to see more from them, given how dominant that Gen G series was from Gen G. And JDG have looked very dominant. They have controlled both games beautifully. I like their approaches to the draft and how they've just consistently punished the game plan from Loud. And so much of it has been driven by their bottom lane. GALA and Vampire. We saw this domestically. We saw it in their playoffs. We saw, and this is just how they like to play. Get that strong bot side of the map, play through their bot lane, have that control, and dominate the Rift.
Well, GALA may have an Infinity Edge, but Bull has his Scout Slingshot.
Yeah. Yes,
how
he
you
does.
Like them apples?
I mean, that is literally David versus Goliath.
Yep.
You know? but I do feel like in this version of the story, Goliath might...
Goliath was the author of this story, unfortunately. And he's like, in this story, Goliath is impervious.
Goliath has got all of his friends here.
Yep.
David about to get hit by a truck. Dragon spawning in about 50 seconds. That is going to be the salt point as well, which means that Loud, that's kind of their last hope. If there is even any left for them.
I feel like a broken record, but they just have no vision in the area. They just can't even get close. I mean, where's your closest ward? It's on the top side, right? You can't see anything.
They've had to commit so much just to get vision on their own side of the rift, Azael, let alone the enemy side.
I mean, their blue ward had to be used on their own blue buff, as Xiaoxu now looking for a potential flank is going to be spotted on some vision here, but JDG fully controlling mid lane. Again, they just sweep out all the vision. They push them back here slowly. YoungJae does secure his Raptors there. Bull, though, going to be in some trouble. HongQ looks with the charm. Only charms up a minion, but xyno feeling confident now, trying to step up. He knows they need to move in, and he's the one that has to create that space for them to do it.
Right now, the only space that is being garnered is that by JDG. Full control over the mid wave. They're trying their best to force their way into the river. They'll face check. xyno's doing a good job there.
Vampire fishing on the side, and HongQ is threatening a flank from below them. Envy does not hit the scatter. GALA just kiting back. The dragon is getting lower. xyno trying to create some space here for his carries. Envy trying to mark HongQ, but Vampire on the side being marked as well. HongQ goes in, he connects on the charm. Bull cleanses it out, but here comes Vampire. It's a massive pop blossom. Bull is gone already. xyno battling on the side against GALA. Almost takes him down, but can't quite do it. It's all the kills going to JDG. 5 for 0. 23 minutes in, they TP to top lane, and they're looking to end this.
A one-sided slaughter as JDG tear Loud apart in a 5 for 0 ace. 23 minutes into game 2, they will show them no mercy, leave no remorse as they look to take down the Nexus and go to match point.
JDG may not have been able to take down Gen.G, but they are looking incredible here today. Not going to try to risk it on the Nexus push. Instead, they just take the inhibitor. They'll go back to Seoul. They decide, you know what? They could be respawning. Maybe something could happen.
I mean, they're only 23 minutes in, though. Death timers aren't that long, but really, it starts off with HongQ. Keep an eye on the left-hand side. Connects on the ball. And because they turn their attention onto him, they don't track Vampire. Connects a nice two-man ulti onto the backline, giving space for HongQ. And on the front line, the Syndra ult is thrown into Vampire, of all people, and they can't even get the kill there. Meanwhile, Xiaoxu and JunJia doing what they need to allow for the MasterCard priceless moment of the game with the Dragon Soul secured. Second of this series, JDG once again demonstrating dominance and a masterclass performance against Loud.
They are looking very good, and I'm feeling a little bit scared as a Lion fan who will have to play the winner of this matchup, which is, well, if it continues this way, it's going to be JDG, who has looked very, very dominant here today. Definitely a bot lane masterclass, it has to be said. GALA and Vampire feeling like the biggest gap by far across these two games. The top side has held up all right. YoungJae has been able to find some action, but you know, generally past the early minutes, he is just perma-warded everywhere. Their vision game has been so good, and they have been playing very patiently. GALA is chunked low. Bull's going to go in with the lightning crash. Flashes forward, but GALA flashes away. And on the other side, it's HongQ. It's killing RedBert. He's chasing after Envy, looking for even more. Envy flashes back. The scatter going to be able to land on the flash of HongQ, but it doesn't matter because he is knocked down over the wall. xyno running for the hills here. But Xiaoxu is hungry. He's chasing him down, popping the Dominus, looking to get even more while the rest of his team just pushes the base.
I mean, xyno, he's not going to be given a chance to defend his base. Only YoungJae will be there left to defend as JDG win another convincing fight. An ambitious but a valiant effort from Bull, which was not enough to take down GALA. He remains standing as they set their sights on the Nexus.
It's going to be the Nexus falling here. JDG crushing games back to back. The bot lane has been dominant, and JunJia has been there to thwart him. It's going to be match point here for JDG. One more, and they will move on and send Loud home.
And of course, in the chat, you can already start voting for your player of the game.